Hi, I'm Pastor Bill with your Maple Minute for this Thursday, November 5th, 2020. You know, we've been talking about having that worldview about knowing for certain that my God can do anything. That's the deep level of faith that we need to have. So often we just try and call it faith and we pray a prayer and that hope for eternity to be on our side. But the truth of the matter is that often leads to a life of inept Christianity and doubts and fears that overwhelm us. You see, we need to develop a life that goes beyond a little bit of, I know there's a God, because you realize this, lots of people believe in God. Even the devil believes in God. Demons believe in God. Many people even pray to God earnestly. I think over the last couple of days, there were probably a lot of people that were praying for their team to win or their political system to be favored. And I think so often people give out prayers who don't live a life that pleases God in earnest desire for God to help them when they're facing hard trials of life, bad situations. I think we have to be careful, though, to determine within ourselves whether our belief in God is really faith or not, because that's a whole different level. Billy Graham really provided us with a great example of what truly believing in God means. Knowing that he was in the final chapters of his life, he made this statement. He says, I think about heaven a great deal. I think about the failures in my life in the past, and I know that they've been covered by the blood of Christ. And that gives me a great sense of confidence. I have a certainty about eternity that is a wonderful thing, and I thank God for giving me that certainty. I do not fear death. I may fear a little bit the process, but not death itself, because I think the moment that my spirit leaves this body, I will be in the presence of the Lord. That's great clarity in this situation. You see, Billy Graham just didn't believe in God. He had a confidence, and that's what he said there in the middle of that. He had a confidence in the Almighty. He found that confidence, though, in daily prayer and Bible study, or what I would tell you more so is not just in doing certain things, it was in an intimate relationship with God. What made Billy Graham so effective in his ministry, what made him so effective as a Christ follower, wasn't doing religious things. It was developing that relationship with the God of the universe that he could be certain in. See, we will find the joy in our hearts when we know God well, when we experience his transforming love and enter into that meaningful relationship with him. John, Jesus' favorite disciple, or the disciple Jesus loved the most, according to John, he wrote in 1 John chapter 4, verses 17 through 19, he said this, "This is how love is made complete among us, so that we will have confidence on the day of judgment." He says this, "In this world we are like Jesus. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. We love because he first loved us." And I think that really comes down to what we need to know for today. Confidence, like we said last time, this faith is a childlike faith. And confidence is childlike at all things. You see, it's when we as adults start dealing and analyzing with the difficulties of our perception, that's when we have fear. The child who stands on the edge of the pool at the deep end and jumps into the arms, not knowing how to swim, jumps in the arms of his parent, his father or his mother, shows that confidence that Christ says we should have in him. It's not just an unknown faith, by the way, though some people will think that, because that confidence is built on the relationship of the parent to the child, that loving relationship. See, confidence allows us to look to him, to Jesus Christ, to God when we're afraid, when our fears are the most. And because we believe in him, we don't have to fear when we are overwhelmed in our lives. That's the truth. You know, the Bible often uses the comparison of us as Christ followers to sheep. Sheep aren't very intelligent animals, and even more so, they're very fearful animals. You know, when sheep hear a loud noise or are startled by whatever reason, they scatter in fright. And it is the shepherd who whose task is to calm them down, he touches each sheep with his staff and his rod to calm them down, and he speaks to them individually. The sheep calm down, though, because they trust the shepherd in that relationship. They know him. And that's what Jesus tells us about his care for us. You see, believing God is the first step in this confidence that God can do anything in life. But this believing in God needs to take a step further and build a childlike confidence in God through a relationship, because that's the true mark of a simple faith. So how's your faith today? Are you trusting God? I encourage you to, hopefully you're continuing on with the praise challenge throughout the month of November as we develop this whole understanding of what God does for us all the time. 30 days is not really even enough to start telling you all the great things that God does for us on a daily basis, but it helps us get to know who he is. So I hope you're trusting God and you're building more than just, I believe that there is a God, I believe that God can save me, but you build that relationship where you know him, and you can jump off the deep end of life into the arms of God and have confidence, just like Billy Graham did. Though the process may scare you of death, death doesn't really scare you, because you'll be in the presence of the one who loves you the most. That's God. So keep living the life of faith and go beyond just believing in God to putting your full faith and confidence in him by developing that relationship every day through reading his Bible, through prayer, and praising him like we talked about on Sunday.